everyone. In this video, we'll be learning about something which is connected to your grade 7 topic, which is called as exponents. So, what is an exponent? Or what does an exponent tells you? You can think about it, even if you've forgotten, it's completely fine. Because in this video, we are going to talk about exponent and something more about exponents. So, I'm going to first explain again what is an exponent. Now, can you see this number 4 and 3? How do we read this? 4 to the power 3. So what is this 3 called as? It's called as the, it's called as the power or the exponent. Right? So what does the 3 tells us further? It tells us that 4 is multiplied to itself. How many times? 3 times. Right? Means I have to multiply 4 to itself 3 times. Means 4 into 4 into 4. Correct? Okay. What the term or name we use to refer the 4? 3 is called as power or exponent, and this 3 tells us that 4 is to be multiplied 3 times. Means 4 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 4. We understood that much. So what is the name for 4 here, or the particular term we use to refer to this 4? Anyone? It's called as the base. Very good. So exponent has two things with it. One is the number, which is called as the base, which is to be multiplied to itself, and the number in the power tells us how many times the base will be multiplied to itself. So this was a quick review on what is an exponent. Okay. Now an exponent of a number, let's look at the definition. So the exponent of a number is the exponent shows how many times the number is to be multiplied to itself. The exponent tells us the base, how many times the base should be multiplied. So let's take a very quick examples. 5 to the power 4. That means the 4 is telling us that the base 5 has to be multiplied how many times? 4. So I should write it 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 4. Let's go to the next one. 3 to the power 7 means I have to multiply 3 how many times? Yes, 7 times. So let's write it. So 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Let's count. Am I right or not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops, I forgot 1. So we should put 3. So 7 times the base is multiplied. Next, negative 2 to the power 3. Now here the negative sign is also within the bracket. Means the negative sign is also supposed to be multiplied 3 times. So it will be minus 2 multiplied by minus 2 multiplied by minus 2. Now your question will be why so? So I wanted to show a difference. If the question was like this, instead of negative 2 to the power 3, that means I have to only multiply the number, that is the base, which is 2, 3 times, not the negative. Okay. Whereas in this question, it was negative 2 as my base. So I multiplied negative 2 how many times? 3 times. So this will become negative, and then I have to multiply 2 how many times? 3 times. So 2, 2. So this is the biggest difference if the minus is outside and if the minus is inside. Hope this was clear. So now let's very quickly go through a brush up of the laws of exponents. Right? So a to the power 0, if you don't remember it, you are going to get yourself refreshed along with me. So a to the power 0 is 1. Means any number with power 0, any base with power 0. Right? They all will have the answer as 1. So here the power is 0. Irrespective of the basis, the answer will be 1. Okay. Let's take the next form. It's a raised to m times a raised to n. Correct? So what we do, the bases are same, so we'll write it only once and the powers get added up. So what's the law? A raised to m multiplied by a raised to n equals to a raised to m plus n. Let's take few questions. So here 3 to the power 4, 3 to the power 2. So 3, I'll write it once and I'm going to add the powers, which is 4 and 2, 3 to the power 6. Let's take the second question. Again, the bases are same. So 6 plus 3, which is a to the power 9. Let's take one more quick question. Negative 2 to the power 4 multiplied by negative 2 to the power 3. So the bases are same. Yes, it's negative 2. So negative 2 to the power 4 plus 3, which is negative 2 to the power 7. So what's the law? A to the power m multiplied by a to the power n is equals to a to the power m plus n. Correct? The powers get added up. The next law. A to the power n divided by a to the power n. So the bases are divided. That means what will happen? The powers get subtracted. Hope you remember now. Okay, let's take some examples. So if I have 5 to the power 9 divided by 5 to the power 4. Bases are same? Yes. Are they divided? Yes. So what will happen? The powers will subtract. Correct? And you will get your answer as this. Same way, if I take 3, negative 3 to the power of 11 divided by negative 3 to the power of 6. So what will happen? The base is same, so you'll write it once and you'll subtract your powers, which is negative 3 to the power of 5. Again, a to the power m divided by a to the power n is equal to a to the power m minus n. The power should be subtracted if the bases are divided and the bases should be equal. Okay. So we have done the third law. The next law. What is the special name for this law? Anybody? It's called as power of power. So what happens in power of power? The powers get multiplied, right? Many of you really love this rule because it's very easy. Just multiply it. Let's take that example. So negative 5 to the power of 3 to the power of 2. So what will happen? We'll write the base once and we'll multiply these two. So 3 times 2 directly 6. Let's write x to the power of 4 to the power of 3. So what we'll say? X to the power 4 multiplied by 3, which is x to the power of 12. Correct? So it's power of power. Next, and the last one. If the bases are different, but the powers are same. Again, if the bases are different, but the powers are same. So what we'll do? We'll take the common power like this and we'll multiply the bases together. So a to the power n multiplied by b to the power n is equal to a multiplied by b to the power common power n. Let's take few examples to really understand. Suppose if I am taking 2 to the power 4 multiplied by minus x to the power 4. Now the bases are really different. One is 2, the other is minus x. And the powers are 4. So what we'll do, we'll write the power as a common. We'll multiply the bases. So 2 multiplied by minus x, which we can write it as minus 2x because it's multiplied to the power 4. Let's take one more example. Let's say 3 to the power 4 multiplied by a to the power 4. Again, the power is same. 3 times a, that becomes 3a to the power 4. Next, if I am taking minus 7 to the power of 3 multiplied by 2 to the power of 3. The bases are completely different, right? So we'll write common power as 3 minus 7 multiplied by 2. Now we know minus 7 multiplied by 2 gives us, yes, negative 14 to the power of 3. Okay, so let's look into the laws again, a quick review. So the first one is a to the power 0, it's always 1. Okay, any base with power 0 will give you 1. Next, a to the power m multiplied by a to the power n is a to the power m plus n. If the powers are different, bases are multiplied, the power gets added. Next, a to the power n divided by a to the power n is a to the power n minus n. If the powers are divided, means you subtract. Correct? The next is power of power. Okay? And the last one is, I'm sorry, and the last one is when the two bases are different but the powers are common. So we multiply the bases together and keep the power as common. Hope this is clear. Now this year, that is in grade 8, you are going to study about a new exponent which is called as a negative exponent. So any base which has a negative exponent is called as a negative. Means, let's say 4 is my base as we took the first one. And if the power is negative 3, means a negative integer, then we call it as a negative exponent. We can also have x to the power negative 7. We can also have 3a the whole power negative 7, right? We can also have x upon 5 to the power negative 2. We can also have half to the power negative 3. So if you see, the bases are different ways which I have written here. This is a whole number. This is a variable. This is variable and a number multiplied together. This is more like a fraction, and this is also a fraction. But all of them have one common thing, which is a negative integer or a negative number in the power. Okay, so any base having a negative integer is called as a negative exponent. Okay, am I clear? Okay. Now, few rules that you need to use to change a negative exponent into positive. I've taken few examples here, which you will be doing with me to understand. First of all, always you have to look at the base. Okay, and you have to write the multiplicative inverse. What is the meaning of multiplicative inverse? Multiplicative inverse means just the opposite, which is called as the reciprocal of the base. Means if it is 4, if my number is 4, the reciprocal will be 1 over 4. Okay, because 4 can be written as 4 over 1. Okay, so the opposite, just shift the number in the numerator to the denominator and the denominator number to the numerator. Just put it upside down. So you will get your multiplicative inverse. So 4 to the power negative 3 can be written as, first you change the base into its reciprocal, that is multiplicative reciprocal. Okay, so 4 will become 1 upon 4. The moment you change it, the negative power will change as positive. Am I clear? Okay, let's take few more to understand this. Now here my base is 2y. So its reciprocal or the multiplicative inverse will be, first of all, you can write it in your rough area, that is 2y over 1. So just shift it. The denominator goes up, the numerator comes down. So the reciprocal will be 1 over 2y. Hope I am clear. So the answer will be 2y to the power negative 3 will become, the reciprocal of 2y will be 1 over 2y to the power 3. Okay. Let's take few more. Now it's more easy because it's 4 by 5. So just write the opposite. Take the 5 to the top, that is in the numerator, and bring the 4 to the bottom. So the reciprocal will be what? Just the opposite of 4 over 5. Means the 5 will come up and the 4 will go down. So the exponent can be changed from negative to positive. How? Change the base, that is 5 over 4, and just write positive power. Okay. Next, we have 6y. So can we write it as 6y divided by 1 for our understanding? So the reciprocal will be what? It's just the opposite. So it's 1 upon 6y, right? So the answer 6y to the power 4. Now one biggest thing, 6 is not considered here. It's not supposed to be considered. Why? Because 6 is not having the power. So the reciprocal will be the 6 upon y, because 6 has to be in the top. Okay. The negative power is only for y. So keep the 6 on the top. bring the y on the bottom, and the y is having the negative power, so that will become a positive.